Hi, I'm Lamar. This is Blue Hair Fitness. I've been losing 0.625 pounds on average for the last 50 days. I'm going to tell you how to do it and never get hungry. If you have a massive amount of weight to lose, like 50 pounds or more, and you're over 50 years old, this is the channel for you. Like, subscribe, click, comment. Let's do it together. All right, so I have a brief analogy. Hopefully it's brief. If you imagine yourself as a car, I want you to split that car into two main systems. Everything but the fuel tank is one, and the fuel tank is the other. Let's say I took the fuel tank and it was 14 gallons and I magically changed it to 140 gallons. It throws everything in the car out of balance. It throws the weight out of balance. Your fuel economy goes crazy, all of the things. Now, if someone came to you and said, hey, I need you to get this car back to where it was, you wouldn't then go, all right, well, I'm going to swap the engine out. I'm going to take out the steering wheel. I'm going to lose some seats. That air conditioner, you don't need that. No, the first thing you do is you go, this has a 140-gallon fuel tank. It's supposed to have a 14-gallon fuel tank. Let's just switch that and see what happens. In your body, there is lean mass and there's fat mass. When you're losing weight, what you want to lose is your fat mass, which is that extra fuel tank, right? All that extra capacity. You want to lose that while you keep lean mass. Why do you want to keep lean mass? Because there are numerous studies out there that just talk about all of the benefits of lean mass that go beyond, physical appearance. Things like longevity, clarity of thought, all of those things. Having a good amount of lean mass and maintaining that lean mass, is extremely important. So you don't want to mess with your lean mass. You want to lose weight, quote unquote, by losing fat. That's what you want to do. And you want to do that as simply and easily as possible. I personally don't like hunger pains. If the word pain is in it, I don't really want to partake in that. I'm not here for the pain thing. So how can you lose fat consistently without the pain? And that's where your eating habits come in. And that's where that magical mechanical lever comes in. So I talk about insulin in the headline of the video. Insulin is kind of important to me. My grandmother died of diabetes-related complications. One of my earliest memories is diabetes messes with your eyesight, and just getting old messes with your eyesight. She couldn't see the needle to fill her insulin because back then, that's the only way you could do it. You had a vial and a needle, and you drew your insulin. So one of my earliest memories is she asked me to draw insulin for her because she couldn't read the measurements on the needle. And as I thought about it, I was thinking about this video today while I was walking. Something occurred to me, like my uncle lived with my grandmother, but what happened when she needed to take her insulin, but there was no one there? Because I didn't live with my grandmother at the time. I was just visiting. But that's a brief aside. So your insulin is extremely important. It's what regulates your blood glucose levels. Your blood glucose levels are the things that make you feel hungry. Like when they swing up and down, actually when they swing down, they make you feel hungry, right? And so if you want to lose weight consistently and easily without having these wild fluctuations in the old days, they call it your blood sugar level, then you need to figure out a way that your body isn't constantly craving food, right? And to do that, one thing you can do is walk. And the second thing you can do is eat a low carbohydrate diet. And that doesn't mean you don't get to eat all of the stuff you like. I eat almost everything I like. I just don't eat it all of the time. So what you do when you're walking consistently and you're depleting your glycogen, which is how your body actually stores that energy, once you deplete that, your body automatically says, all right, well, here's the deal. This guy is walking. He's walking consistently. We need to have energy to do this. We can ask him for food by creating these hunger pains if our blood sugar level goes down, and he'll feed us. And that'll work, but you'll constantly be going up and down. You'll constantly be counting your calories. You'll constantly be feeling out of sorts because as your blood sugar level goes down, you'll start to feel a little woozy. Like it happens to people. It happened to me. Once you start eating a low carbohydrate diet and you combine that with your foundation of walking, your blood glucose level starts to stabilize. It stays steady. And so your body is not having to pump insulin into your bloodstream to regulate your blood sugar level because you're eating all kinds of different foods, all kinds of different carbs. It's having to break that stuff down to make sure that it's feeding your muscles correctly and all that other stuff. Your body can run on fat. Your body can break fat down into these things called ketones. Long story short, every organ in your body, with the exception of your brain and parts of your heart, can run completely on ketones, including all of your muscles. So you don't really need to have carbohydrates. I don't want to get into why I think carbohydrates are pushed in the fitness industry and in popular culture, but you don't really need them. You can be perfectly fine without them. I'm not saying you shouldn't ever eat a carb. I love a pizza, love fries. I just don't eat them all the time. And as far as carbohydrates go, I do eat all kinds of salads, all kinds of greens, all that other stuff. And occasionally I actually eat fruit all the time. But what I don't do is spike my blood sugar levels by eating an excess of carbs. So the things that I monitor are my net carbohydrates throughout the course of the day. That is the number one thing that's on my display on my net diary. It is the top thing, not calories, not fat, none of that stuff. The top thing on my display is my net carbs per day. And I monitor that through what I eat. So I make sure that I keep that number beneath a certain number. For me, I like to be below 50. That does not work for a lot of people, and I understand that. The reason I keep it below 50 is psychological. I know that I want to keep my total under 75. So if I keep my net under 50, I always know I'm under 75. But you could very easily stay under 75 and lose weight consistently, slowly. It'll be a little harder than and a little slower than without doing any walking as a foundation, but it will happen. Keeping on 100 is doable as well. I mean, you won't get all of the benefits, but you'll get a lot of the benefits. And before I started doing this, when I was tracking my food and I wasn't thinking about my carb intake, I was regularly hitting 200, 250, sometimes 300 grams of carbs a day. That is not good for me, and I do not do it anymore. So once you commit yourself to eating in a way that controls your blood glucose levels, you do not have these surges of insulin in and out of your system, and you do not have to worry about these hunger pains. And worrying about the hunger pains not worrying about the hunger pains takes away a lot of the discomfort of losing a massive amount of weight. I literally don't have to worry about eating. A lot of times, there have been times where I've had to remind myself to eat because I'm like, oh man, you know what? I haven't eaten today and I do need to get my protein in somehow, so I need to have a meal. Or there are times where I'm doing something and I don't want to be distracted by having to eat. One of the main things is airline travel. I do not like having to go to airline bathrooms. I absolutely do not like getting into a bathroom on an airplane. So when I had a day trip back, I think on June the 9th. I had a day trip on June the 9th. June the 8th, I had breakfast. I didn't eat for the rest of the day. I didn't eat all day through June the 9th. When I got back from my day trip on June the 9th, it was around 7, 8 o'clock. I had a small meal, and I was good to go. I had fasted for 36 hours. I was never hungry. The only thing that was a problem for me was figuring out where to get water in the airport because I forgot to bring a water bottle, so I had to get some water in the airport. So when you pull this metabolic lever, is what I like to call it, of forcing your body to burn fat, there's two main benefits that I see. The first is you don't get hungry, and those hunger pains will cause you to do things that you might not otherwise do and are not consistent with you trying to lose weight over a long period of time and hitting your goal. That's the first thing. The second thing is there is a clarity. There is a ease of not having to worry about when you're eating and what you're eating. That all of that food conversation that goes on in your head goes away. And when those two combine, what you end up with is an easily repeatable system that burns fat all the time. Because once you've taught your body that you're going to need to burn fat to make this whole situation happen, it's just going to burn fat all the time. And that's where I get to the point 6 to 5 pounds per day. It's not because I overly exercise. Like I'm not out like running marathons. I'm not out doing 3 and 4 hour sessions at the gym. I generally walk about an hour and a half a day, and maybe a little more. So in the morning, my walk is about an hour and 15 minutes, excuse me. And then I do a couple of shorter walks throughout the day that are extremely leisurely. So they may take 15, 20 minutes, but I may only go a kilometer, extremely leisurely walks a day. But all day long, my body is burning fat. And then with the meals I have, they are low carbohydrate meals, but they are energy dense and they're vitamin and mineral dense. So my electrolytes are refilled. My body feels great. I sleep well. I'm sleeping better now than I've slept probably in the last 8 months. And I'm burning fat all day long. So that's how I get to 0.62. Is it magic? Well, kind of. I mean, it's a cheat code. Like, as long as you treat your body right, you establish foundation of walking, and you decide to eat in a way that your body selects the fat to burn, you too can get to that number quite easily. And I feel like it's a no-brainer. Like when I started thinking about this and I started researching this, this was years ago, it just occurred to me that if I could figure out a way for my body to burn fat all the time, then I wouldn't have to really worry about losing weight. And all of the popular mass media stuff was telling me to eat in ways that didn't ask my body to do the thing I wanted it to do. Like, there was this huge conflict going back and forth about, well, you should eat this way, but eating this way doesn't tell your body to burn its fat stores. What it tells your body is everything's okay until the next meal. And I didn't want to continue down that path. It just seemed counterintuitive to me. So I kept digging until I found a way to eat so that my body and my mind were aligned in the goals that I was trying to reach, which is fat loss. And so when I started this program on April, on the 28th, 29th April, right, when I started walking, I intentionally didn't change how I was eating for those first 3 weeks. I thought about it. I monitored what I was eating. I recorded all my data, but I didn't change my eating program. The only time I went to change was my foundation was already established, and I was in week 3, and I'm like, hey man, I'm really tired of these hunger pains. I need to do something about it. This is how I'm going to eat from this point forward. I went through the brief transition, and when I did that, my rate of fat loss skyrocketed. When I went from eating on I want to say calorie dominant way of eating to eating on a carb dominant way of eating, my fat loss just took off. And I just stopped feeling hungry, which is really important to me. I don't like to be in pain if I don't have to be. So that's the metabolic lever that you can pull. You can ask your body to assist you in your fat loss by telling it to just burn the fat, and it will do it, and you will feel great. If you have any questions about this, if you want to talk about it, please comment below. Join the channel. I do these videos every day, and I'm going to keep doing them for the foreseeable future, and I'm certainly going to keep you updated on my progress.